Hey everyone, welcome to Sir Inc.'s The Experience Podcast, where we talk about anything and everything kink. We only cater to adults 18 and above, so remember this podcast is not safe for work, as we like to say, NSF.
Remember, you can always listen to us in your private time. Hello, kinky and kinkiers folk out there. My name is Sir Inc., and I'm doing something a little different today. So you know how I do. I started off with a drink of the night, but before I get into that, I'm going to show you guys what I'm working with. Here you go. So as you can see, I have a 5-head pinwheel, a single head pinwheel, and I have a fork. I also have a feather. Now, why do I have those things up there? And of course, I have my drink of the night, which will be Jefferson's. Very delicious, Jefferson's Reserve. Very delicious bourbon, brand new. You might not know the story about it, but they have a certain cast that they put on ships and sell it around the world. It gives you a different flavor, but the Reserve is a little different. It's great with a cigar. But anyway, here we go about the novelties. What about those? I heard a video of a young lady saying, it takes 18 minutes for women to get warmed up, to really be ready to have sex, this, that, and the other. And a lot of guys are like, damn, 18 minutes? I take you 18 minutes, 18 minutes, da-da-da. Guys, relax. What are you going to do with your 18 minutes? I want you to think about this, guys, because what happens is we as men, not all men, but a lot of men do not think about foreplay. We get real caught up in just trying to get our dick hard and fuck, right? That's the main, we are very blinders on like a horse. We want to fuck. We want to get our dick hard. We want to fuck. We definitely want to give you pleasure, but we want to get pleasure, right? However, slow down, pause. Because a lot of men look at sex and romance as this. I'm going to romance the woman that I'm in love with, but a woman I'm just having sex with, maybe not so much. I'm just trying to get my dick hard and have sex. Well, come on, brothers. Come on, bros. Here's the thing. Personally, if I'm not into a woman, whether it's a romantic relationship or not, just to have sex with a woman, I need to be into her so I can have the kind of meaningful sex that I like to feel fulfilled myself. Me feeling fulfilled is making sure that she's happy and I'm happy too with what we're both giving one another, okay? So there has to be a little bit of synergy. There has to be a little bit of conversation of what you like, what you don't like. Here's the thing. I like edge play. A lot of women love edge and sensory play. So the things that I showed you guys are edge and sensory play novelties. Here's what we do, guys. You got 18 minutes. Let's do it like a game. You got 18 minutes on the clock. What we're going to do? What we're going to do is this. We're going to blindfold our subject, okay? Boom, blindfold your subject. What does that do? That takes away one of their senses. What happens when you take one sense away? Other senses pick up. Other senses get more heightened. The hearing, the sense, the smell, all that heightens. Okay? And so imagine them being blindfolded. And then you're making noises with all other kind of stuff that they haven't seen yet. So you're just clanging stuff on the table. Banging stuff around. That brings a different level of excitement. Okay? That gets them all nice and juiced up. They don't know what's coming next. Then we just carefully and slowly take the fork and just drag it on them a little slow. See, the fork is so great. The fork is so great because, and look, you don't have to have one of these. You can take a fork out of your kitchen. It's not as pointy and sharp on the ends as this, but a fork out of your kitchen works great. And just drag it across their skin. Yes. And the good thing about a fork, you can use it to press like that. Here's the thing. I like to use these kind of toys, that are like pointy and sharp and give that stingy kind of feeling. I like to use these in the fleshy parts of the body. So inside the arm, biceps, right here on the side, stomach, the neck area, of course. The only place I like to use these kind of novelties where this bone is really across the collarbone, because this area on a woman is so sensitive. This here and this right in here in between the cleavage, so sensitive. Also, in between the legs, the inner thigh area, the back of the knee area, those places are really great. Here we go. Then I would go to my pinwheel. Oh, the pinwheel. So lovely, just to roll that across their skin. And then here's the thing, guys, get creative with it. Do a pattern. Have your pattern down. Go here, go there. Go down here, go up, go around here, go up on the back of their neck, into their head a little bit. All those are very sensitive erogenous zones. Down here, down the middle of their chest, underneath their breast, down their breast, across their nipple, very slow across the nipple, right? Very slow, drag it everywhere, right? But here's another thing. You got to be conscious of this a little bit, guys. Whatever you do on one side, do on the other. Make it even. Make it even. Don't leave them uneven. If you've ever gotten a professional massage, take note how everything they do on one side is the same thing they do on the other. You have to make sure that you're even. So keep it simple. If you're going to do it one pass here, do one pass here. If you're going to do two passes there, then you're going to do two passes here. So just keep it simple. If you want to spell your name out, whatever the case may be, do that. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. But make sure that you keep it even. It makes a difference. And then I will graduate from that one single wheel to 5 wheel. Ooh, the 5 wheel. The 5 wheel. The 5 wheel is crazy, right? Now, the 5 wheel is a little different than the single wheel. A single wheel gives you a little bit more concentrated sensation, right, when you're rolling across. Now, this one is bigger, so you're covering more area, right? You're covering more area, so you can get a lot more as you're doing it. Get a lot more, but it's not as focused as that one little tiny wheel. But this works wonders. I love it to death. I love it to death. And last but not least, what I would do, right? Last but not least, what I would do is use my feather. For $10, guys, I bought this for $10. This is easy stuff, right? None of the stuff that I showed you right here costs a whole bunch of money. You can buy one of those, you can buy a single pinwheel for less than $12, I believe. You could buy that 5-headed pinwheel for probably like less than $30. You know, that little fork you can find somewhere, I'm sure, for less than $5. This right here cost me $10 downtown here in my city at a sex novelty shop. So this stuff doesn't cost a lot of money, and it can bring you so much pleasure, especially for your subject. Give you so much great pleasure for your lover, for your sub. Now imagine, I'm talking about just being blindfolded. Imagine you have them blindfolded and tied up. You really got them going. You really get them juiced up. Them 18 minutes go by real quick. Next thing you know, you look up, you 45 minutes in to having fun, because what happens is you start getting off and watching her reaction. And then when you start watching her reaction, you start coming up with more stuff to do, right? At any rate, this here, this feather, once I give them that edge with the pointiness, I like to use this feather lightly across their skin. Lightly across the skin. Kind of smooths it out, brings them down, and then you can get into something else, right? Now, maybe you want to add, what else can you add? Maybe you got some kind of oils. They got the different kind of oils that are heated, that have different flavors. So, you know, If you got like, let's just say essential oil like peppermint, put a little peppermint on their nipples or put a little peppermint on their body, just a little bit, right? And imagine that cool minty feeling, right? And then you're using a pinwheel, and then you're using this after the pinwheel with the cool minty feeling. All those sensations just brings out something more to your session. It brings out something more to your sexual experience with your partner. So this is just my tip. Again, this is a brand new way I'm starting out these videos, just to kind of give a little tutorial to talk about what novelties I like the most. Next week, I'm probably going to get into crops, what I love about crops, how I use them. But for now, I showed you guys my pinwheel, my 5 head, my single head, my fork, and my feather. These are very basic novelties that I use. I don't always use pinwheels in every session that I do. They're a major part of sessions that I do, but I don't always use this back to back with the same submissive or the same partner, because you want to switch it up. You don't want to ever get dull. So I'll switch it up. So this is Sir Ink. This is my tip of the day about foreplay. Again, I'll have more and more of these coming up. Show you some basic things that you can use that's right inside your household, so you don't have to go out buy expensive stuff. Because remember, it's all about sensation play. It doesn't matter how much you spend or how much you don't. It's about the effect of what you get from it. Okay? Next up is the conversation about what men need to do to maintain the set forth direction. And so today, you know how we do before I get started. Drink of the day. Today I'm going to be drinking some Jeffersons. You guys have seen me talk about this earlier. Pretty good bourbon. Cheers to you tonight. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Appreciate your patronage to the page and to what I do, and all your encouragement, your comments, and your feedback. Love it. Thank you so much. So tonight's topic is: a man's ways should be established and maintained. What does that mean? Exactly that. If you're new to the lifestyle, this is what you need to do when you're trying to figure out what kind of dom am I, how can I dominate. The first thing you need to know is yourself. You need to know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. This helps you establish who you are as a dominant man and the expectations of those who will come to be in your life, follow you, and want to serve you. If you have no boundaries, if you have no rules, if you don't know yourself, then you're just out here doing stuff, right? And there's a lot of guys out here doing stuff, and those guys are looked at as being fake. Now, there's a lot of guys that are good-hearted dudes that really want to get in the lifestyle, but they're not really taught how they need to get into the lifestyle. And it's a slow process. You just don't get in and grab somebody. No, you got to do your due diligence. You got to do your research. You need to read up on all the different dominant roles and also the submissive roles. You need to understand that you as a dominant need to stand 10 toes down on your position. And you need to maintain that position. And anytime those hard positions change, that needs to be clear to everyone involved in your life. Everyone. And dominants do not make changes to we don't make changes to very important points. Those things that you say, I just can't do that, or I'm not going to go there. You can't just all of a sudden one day be like, oh, I'm going there, without that being talked about, without that being thought about. Men, dominant men, healthy men are very calculated in their thinking, and are also very upfront about what's going on. Imagine yourself being a general or a sergeant or a captain in an army or whatever type service kind of rank. Whatever you decide to do, you got to disseminate that information down to the troops. The general can't be doing one thing and the troops be doing another thing. That is not going to work. And that reeks of bad leadership. Also, who can validate your leadership? How can you show that you have leadership abilities? If you're just coming out of nowhere, I want you to follow me. How does a woman know? How does a submissive know to follow you? Do you have anything established? Are you a boss at your job? Do you manage people in any way? Can you even maintain your own lifestyle? If you haven't mastered yourself and your own lifestyle, how can you ask someone else to believe in you and to put their trust in your decision making for not only yourself but for them too? That needs to be thought out. And so, if you want to be a dominant man, if you want to get into this lifestyle, what I've learned over the years, and it's a journey of oneself. So, a lot of what I learned was through books. But then, even after you learn through books, it's you got to get out here and try. But what I've learned, and I'm going to tell you guys what I've learned in my 12 years of being in the lifestyle, is you have to have those hardcore things about yourself as a man that you're not moved off of, and then you have to build on top of that, and you have to be very forthcoming with that, and you have to bring people in and see if that see how you can make that work. But I also know do not bring in someone that doesn't get along with your program. It doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make your program bad or your ways bad. It just makes you guys not a good fit. And that's fair. But too many times we're trying to stick round pegs and square holes. That's not going to work. So, you have to be a man of some sort of conviction. You have to have your own belief system. And I'm not talking about religious, but just beliefs. Like, you know, example, Republican or Democrat, moderate or liberal, or to the right, whatever it is. I'm just using that as just an example. Um, but you can have but you have to be still in your concepts and your actions, you know, and a part of you has to be very repetitive, right? Because the thing that I trust about relationships, or the things I trust in other people, the things that I trust about myself, is that I'm going to do certain things the same way every day. Every day guaranteed, I'm up early, I'm having coffee, and I'm starting to work at 8. When I'm at work, I do work. I don't play around. I'm not walking out. I'm not walking out, going here and there, spending time outside of work, then coming back. It's because I'm the boss, don't mean I go fuck around. I don't do that. Okay? Not gonna go take time off real quick to go bang some chick, come back to work. That leads to bad habits. Those couple of moments of pleasure can lead to more bad habits. And you start chasing pleasure instead of chasing your goals. So if you're a dominant man and you're on your square, you're chasing your goals. Women, submissives, and all those other kind of things are all part of a journey, but they're not the main journey. The main journey is what the goals that you have in mind. Those people come along for the ride and enjoy the ride with you. They enjoy it when it's smooth, and they're gonna not enjoy it when it's bumpy. But as long as they understand what the ending goal is, they ride it out with you. But you have to be a man convicted of your own path. If you're a man that doesn't have a clue what you want to do tomorrow, or you don't have any goals, or you want to do some things with your life other than I'm just living, well, I mean, it's hard for women to trust a guy like that. Why? Because a guy like that is easily moved to do some frolicking nonsense. A guy like that will put up all that he's worked for some pleasure, for a moment of pleasure that could wreck your life. I mean, we could look at all the sports players and uh, all the different people, all the different celebrities in life, and maybe some people directly, in your life, who have risked their families, who have risked their jobs, and all that for a moment of pleasure, for sex, for getting high, for anything that has, for things that have nothing to do with being productive, things that have nothing to do with the overall goal. But this is life, guys. Life is filled with distractions. But productive men, dominant men, are not easily distracted. They look at distractions as calculated as risk, right? And they're only going to take calculated risk if they're going to take risk at all. A lot of dominant men, a lot of successful men are very conservative. Not only fiscally conservative, mentally conservative, spiritually conservative, conservative in their actions and their dealings. They limit the circle of friends or people that have access to them. They can be very insulated, which is good because a lot of dominant men, a lot of successful men are focused, and they know that the devil's pie is in pleasure. So if you're a guy getting into this lifestyle because you're just looking for pleasure and freaky sex, then don't call yourself a dominant. Just call yourself a kinkster, and you're looking for a partner to have kinky sex with. There's people out there that are willing to play that game. But when you get involved in the lifestyle and you're tagging yourself as a dominant, or ladies, you're tagging yourself as a submissive, then there's a certain responsibility that you have to that. Not only a certain responsibility that you have to yourself, but a certain responsibility that you have to the lifestyle itself, because so many are willing to downplay the lifestyle. So many are willing to frown upon the lifestyle based on dumbasses getting in and fucking it up. So again, men, responsible men, know that their actions will reflect whatever lane they're running in. Their actions will reflect their circle of friends and their family. They understand that their actions should be held accountable. That's why a lot of men do not do a lot of sneaky stuff. These kind of successful, dominant men do not do a lot of sneaky stuff because we know someone, when you're successful, is watching at all times, and they're waiting for you to slip up so they can throw the most minuscule thing out there just to throw mud on your name, just to derail you off your path. Because success a lot of times breeds envy and jealousy. Envy is okay because someone that's envious of you, they just love your lifestyle. They're like, damn, I want to have that. I want to be like that. Jealousy, that's a whole nother thing. Jealousy is someone say, damn, why is he getting it like that? Why is he doing it like that? And they start looking at ways to take that from you or to knock you off of that pedestal. So be careful. So again, a man's ways must be established and maintained. Once you establish a mode of order and a mode of conduct that leads to success, you must maintain that and guard that with everything you got. You cannot risk that for a moment of pleasure. So, guys, what do you think? If you've never really dealt with a dominant man, if you've never really dealt with a man that's successful in general, that these are some of the rules that they live by. And I would encourage any of you guys that if you have a male idol or somebody like you like, or like, in history that you like, damn, I like the way that guy rolls, or I like the way, like, read some of their comments, read some of their biographies. I always say this, like, you need to understand how they think. how we think, how successful men think, how they carry themselves. So you can understand the difference between the successful man, driven, focused, and the man who's maybe talented and has some success, but you can tell he's a risk taker. You can tell he's willing to bet it all for a moment of pleasure. And that pleasure could be sex, it could be gambling, it could be alcohol or drugs. It could be any numerous amount of things that we know that have taken people down in life. Okay? So trust me, and I've studied successful men. I've studied books on discipline. I live a very disciplined life, and it's not very um, it allows for moments of pleasure and fun, of course, but living a disciplined life is sexy. It can be very routine, but when you want things, it's the analogy of the tortoise and the hare. You can be the hare gonna bounce forward, bounce to the side, bounce to the side, bounce back, bounce forward, bounce back, bounce left. It's gonna be all over the place. The tortoise is slow, but he's moving forward. The direction you put him in, he's going in that direction. Okay? Tortoise and the hare. You need to know the difference between the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise don't look sexy, looks quite boring. But in the end, the tortoise is going to have everything. The hare looks sexy, it's exciting, it's always here, it's there, it's everywhere. But in the end, the tortoise may not have anything. The tortoise might be back at the beginning, where they started. There's a difference. And I encourage everyone, if you don't know one, go read on one. And the ones you know, you better hug them close and talk to them more to understand how successful people live. And it's just not successful men. This is a lot of successful women who are disciplined, who have structure, and we can learn from any of them. And I encourage you guys too, especially if you want to be, ladies, if you wish to be in a relationship that has some sustainability in it, you need to be with a disciplined man. Especially if you're one of these women who just want a man for yourself. You don't want him fucking other women. All that kind of stuff. Which is fine. You just need to talk to him and find out what's important to him. There's men out here who do not desire a bunch of women. But what do they desire? What kind of woman does that man that wants one woman desire? And can you be the woman that man wants? That is the question. But I wish everyone luck. Hey guys, I want to thank you guys for, tuning in on Wednesday nights with me. Again, like I said, I'm trying to do this every week, trying to bring a different topic. I'm gonna add something new into it, maybe a novelty, maybe something else at the beginning to kind of, give you a little something else to chew on. And again, thank you for watching. Please leave your comments in the thread. Please, you know how to get in contact with me. You can always contact me at sirinq09@gmail.com. I am Sir INQ on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and come check us out in the community, www.kingspace.net. Thank you for watching and listening. Until next time, this is your boy, Sir Ink.